So I already have a couple of messages coming through today. So there's something coming forward about communication. So there's some kind of communication that's coming imminently towards somebody, but there's also, off the back of that, there feels like there's some indecisive energy. So I think when this communication comes towards you, you're going to be indecisive about how to respond to it. You're not going to know how to respond to it. But let's connect it in and see what's going on. So what's coming towards this collective, please? Let's see. I'm seeing one of my cards this morning, which is about communication. So there's been some energy around you recently that, okay, so there's been some kind of ending in a situation that you were in because of behaviour that wasn't great, but wasn't terrible, maybe slightly mischievous behaviour, just not the most honest. Okay. So at first it was coming through as slightly mischievous. Now it's taken a slightly deeper level with this Hunter card coming out. So this is... Hunter energy is the sort of person that they watch what you're doing, they strategize, they try and make plans accordingly. It's not the most honest... It's not the most honest... Literally, as I say that, the truth card comes out upside down. It's not the most honest energy because it's more of a... It feels more like winning a conquest. You know? Like, can I achieve this? Can I get this person back after what I've done? But they're not coming in with truth. So it does look... I mean, we'll check for communication in a minute. I was picking up on communication, but I do want that to be clarified. But if this is the energy they're approaching with dishonesty and secrets, which is obviously not good energy. There's something here about summer. You might have met this person in the summer, or summer might be significant for some reason. So that's a detail there. But this is not, this is not good energy, okay? So this is something unhealthy that you were entangled in, this situation. And you have taken yourself away, and I feel like you've been going within a little bit. So you might be a spiritual person. You might have been leaning into like meditation, spiritual practices like that after the ending that's... Sorry, that was my dog, so that's a warning there in itself as I was talking about that. This isn't great energy. There's obviously some truths that need to be told here. There's secrets that are being hidden. So yes, they might be coming back in with some kind of communication, but you need to be really careful here when they approach, because they're not approaching with honesty. So let's check the communication. Is the communication actually coming forward? Because that is not... That's not energy I want to see when we've got potential communication coming in. Be very careful. Yeah, and my ear just popped as confirmation. Be very careful when this energy reapproaches you, please. This is going to pull on your heart. Whatever the information is that they're coming in with, the communication, it's going to pull on your heart. This person could be a water sign, so Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But they're also someone that's very... They have a lot of confidence about them. So they can be quite an intimidating force. But they've been going through some cycles. So there was something that needed to end. Some kind of cycle that they were repeating. Potentially to do with gambling, addictions, bad finances. They needed to end that cycle. I'm going to need the communication to come out in the next 3 cards. Otherwise, it's not quite coming through yet. And literally, as I say that, there it is. So the communication is coming. So it seems that they have potentially ended that cycle, or they're on the tail end of it. So the communication is coming. And there is a potential new beginning on its way to you. But the energy that came out from that other deck, the Hunter energy, is not... That's not good energy. But so I'm surprised by some of the cards that are coming out here. This open up your heart. And this make way for the new beginning that's coming towards you. That's interesting. Maybe this is to do with the cycle that they've left behind. Earth signs could also be significant here. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Can you get a clarifier for the let go card, please? Just double check this. Because that seems a bit... Oh, and air signs as well could be significant. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So with that coming out as a clarifier for the let go, it might be that you're really overthinking about this decision, and that once this person comes towards you, you will be able to see very clearly what it is that you need to do. There could have been health issues that arose within your connection. So again, another detail, don't make it fit, but they're coming back. There's a return. Expect to hear from them soon. They want some kind of commitment. Right, I want to look into their actual energy then, because the energy that came through that first deck, I'm surprised by these cards. So I want to see if they've shifted their energy. What kind of transformation have they been through this cycle that they've been through? So they've been through a big cycle. So let's see how that has shifted their energy. So I'm going to check what their energy was like before and what it's currently sitting at. So, what was the Divine Masculine's energy before they went through these cycles, please? What was the energy they were sat in before? A very dominant energy. What was the energy they were sat in before the cycles? Yeah, destructive. Very destructive energy. So destructive, but outwardly presenting very optimistic. So they seem like a very happy, sunny person. They're probably a really fun person to be around, to talk to. But their behaviour was just very destructive, internally as well as externally. But they present as so optimistic. But they have been, okay, so they have been working through shadows. There's things that are being presented to them through their subconscious mind and their dreams at the moment that is helping them to work through their shadow work. So that's really interesting. So they are actively working through that destructive behaviour. Is there anything else? There's inner child work that's being done at the moment. That's being done at a subconscious level. the inner child work. So they might not be entirely aware of that, but the work's being done. But this has not been a fast process. So you might have been waiting on this communication for quite a while. This has not been a fast process, but they've had a lot of really deep shadows that have needed to be worked through, which is going to be why a lot of it is being done subconsciously, because consciously it might not have been things that emotionally they could handle. So it might be being handled by guides, external forces, but there's big change coming, and it's going to be fast because they have their eyes on the land now. So where they've almost been lost at sea for so long, they can see the land on the horizon now. They know what they're moving towards. They know what their end goal is, and they're aware of this destructive behaviour. They know that they need to shift that. Right, and again with the shadows. So they're really working through some very, very deep shadows. There might be more to this than you're even aware of, than you can possibly imagine, I'm hearing. This is deeper than you could possibly imagine. So they have had some very deep emotions to be working through, some very deep shadows to be working through. Okay, what's the current energy that they're sat in? So let's see what's shifted. What's shifted in their energy? What's their current energy they're sat in now, please? I want to see that destruction is gone. The destruction needs to be gone. If it comes out again, then they haven't done enough work. They're surrendering. That's really interesting. They're surrendering. The boar is on the bottom of the deck. So it's lurking. It's lurking. Don't come out. They've got crow energy. That's interesting. And the whitetail. That's about going through a rebirth. That's the rebirth process. So they're currently going through that rebirth part. So that's why they can see the land now. They're moving towards that energy of coming out the other side of it. So they're lost in the forest at the moment. That's what I can see. They're on the pathless path in the forest. But you're the light, the warmth outside the forest that's leading them home. Like they're following that light. You know, like you see a glow. Sorry, you can't even see my hand. You know, like you see a glow outside of the forest, like of all the houses, the warmth. That's you. That's what they're moving towards. And with the giraffe on the bottom of the deck as well. So the giraffe is someone that is... A giraffe has their feet planted on the ground and their head in the clouds. So there's someone that's very grounded, very connected to the earth, but also very connected spiritually. So they're on a bit of a spiritual journey here. They're going through a rebirth process. So that's what all the shadow work was for. And there's the fast-paced change again. I just want to check this crow one. I'm sure this is about sight, but I might be muddling that with my other animal deck because this is a new deck for me. So I'm just going to double check this one quickly. But that rabbit there again, that's why the change is coming. The change is coming in. Yeah, so it is about psychic abilities, and it's about, it's the death part. So we've got the death. Oh, Lord. This is what happens when you've got stupid long nails. And then the rebirth part. So they've gone through the death part, and now they're entering into the rebirth. That's really interesting. Again, the boar is still on the bottom of the deck, so it's really lurking there, but it's not coming out. They are doing everything they can to step away from that destructive behaviour. They're aware of it. Let me just check this one. So the friend card is about truth and mirrors. So something's been mirrored to them. You may be a mirror for them. So you may have mirrored some truths, some shadows that needed to be worked through. And now that they've seen that, that's why it's triggered this death and rebirth. It made them aware of the destructive behaviour. This is about reparenting. The bear energy is mama bear energy. So these lessons could be directly linked to a mother wound, or it could be that you were placed in this person's life to help with that, not reparenting, but to relearn those lessons from childhood, to highlight those that needed to be relearned, broken down, because what they learned wasn't correct. And that's what's helped them, this is unbelievable, that's what's helped them to step into the divine masculine energy. Wow. They've gone through quite the transformation. The shadows on the bottom of the deck, again, both shadow cards on the bottom of the deck. They've really embraced those shadows and worked through them. I feel really drawn to that, Sacred Souls. Let's switch to that. One more card from this. Oh no. Oh, this was looking so good until that came out. They are still slightly masking. What's the mask? Fear. They're masking that they still have fear about something. It's the divine connection. The fact that it's a divinely guided connection. There's fear surrounding that. What's the fear? The fear is about friends and family. So they're fearful that their friends and family won't accept that. The spiritual connection. So they're going to mask, they're masking still. I want one more for that. Can I have one more to clarify that, please? Oh, I'm so disappointed by that. This was looking so good. Oh no. Okay, they're trying. They're trying to release that. They're trying to purify those beliefs. But that's a concern. That they're still slightly masking, with the goose on the bottom of the deck as well, which is a warning. You need to be wary of that. That was weird. You need to be wary of that mask. I feel that because there's still a mask that's being worn there's a potential to repeat a cycle. Hang on. I need my black cards now. Because there's a potential to repeat a cycle here. So yes, it looks like they're coming in. Yes, it looks like they're coming in with a really good energy. But there's things that are lurking under the surface still that are potentially going to come straight back in and cause a problem. Is this potentially what caused the problem in the first place? Can you type of friends and family connection, please? There's interference here. Okay, so they're really reminiscing. They're trying to learn from the past. So this is the thing. They're trying to learn from their mistakes. They can see it. But it's like these people get into their head. And so, yes, they're going to come back to you with this fresh energy and believe everything that they say. But then slowly these people chip away at them with the things that they say, their opinions. It just chips away. And then there's the potential there to repeat a cycle. So they're a very obsessive, controlling sort of person. They've potentially been repeating cycles in toxic relationships, like throughout their life. But you need to be very firm with boundaries here and be very aware, because this is going to, I think when this person approaches, this is going to look really good, but it's what's lurking under the surface that's the problem. You can see these cards don't want to come out either. It's like they don't want this to be known, because they want to come in presenting like they've got everything handled, like someone that's very stable. They want you to think that they're in a much more stable place and that they've grown. And that this is sad, because they have grown. They have. And they've worked really hard. But they're still going to be presenting with a slight mask. And unfortunately, that mask is going to get stronger and stronger as these people chip away with their opinions. And then, I mean, let's check. What would a future outcome be if this connection, if they reconnected? What would the future outcome be? Shuffle, these cards don't want to come out. What would the future outcome be if they reconnected? Which is the relationship, sorry, because obviously it's mirrored for you. The relationship is over, no second chances. So this is the thing. They're going to come in presenting as being completely healed, but they're not, because they're still very impressionable and subject to other people's opinions. So once those opinions start piping up again, this is where you're going to end, because they can't handle that. It pushes them to make choices that aren't good. It's that ending that would cause them to then truly ascend. You need to be very wary when this energy approaches. They're not quite there yet. They've done a lot of work, but they're not quite there yet. And if you go into it too early, it's going to destroy any chance for the future, because you're Grim Reapered, which is a absolute final ending. and you need to turn inwards and focus on yourself at the moment and find the strength within you to say not today to this offer, because it's not the right time. And it's so important that you recognise that. Otherwise, it's going to leave no potential for the future. But the sad thing is they think they're ready. They think they've done enough work, but then these people's opinions are going to slowly chip away. Let's check their shadows, because I think they've worked through their shadows, but obviously this other people's opinions are very important to them. So they're very conscious of what people in the world think about them. What shadows are remaining here, please, that we need to be wary of? These don't want to come out today. What shadows are still lurking? I mean, that's good, because it means there's not many that are still lurking. So we've got the stories we tell ourselves. So they're potentially someone that's got a big inner critic as well, and they're not, or I mean, actually, with the way they're coming back now, maybe they're narrating their life with a lens of empowerment now. So but that's based off a mask. There's someone that has abandonment wounds. The inner critic. So they do have a very strong inner critic. They're very critical of themselves and potentially other people. They do have this fear of love. So this is interesting, because this isn't telling me that I don't know if it's now so much that they care about what everybody thinks, but they obviously really trust the people that they're going to for advice. But if these are the people that have been around them while they've been repeating these toxic cycles, if they're similar people and they repeat similar cycles, they're not going to give you the advice that you need to be able to break free from those cycles. You need to separate yourself from that and get advice from different people, because they are limiting. They're limiting them with their opinions. It's like they trust their opinion so much, they trust it over their own. They don't trust their own opinion, but they're sat in this prison of regret. So they're very regretful about what happened between you. But you need to be so wary of this mask. They've tried to embrace the uncertainty. This is what I mean. This is really sad. This is sad to me, because they've done so much work, and I think they really think that they're there. I think they really think they've made the changes they need, made the choices that they need to be able to reapproach you. But it's what's going to happen after you reconnect that is just going to obliterate it again. And it's those voices in their ear that is going to destroy the connection. I feel really drawn to these cards, which is confusing me, because these are very positive. So let's see there might be a message in here that you need to hear. I've just had a notification come through about Valentine's Day from Wagamamas. So I don't know whether that is a sign for you, or whether potentially the communication will come through around that date. It might be that they reach out for Valentine's. That might give them the nudge that they need. Right, so you're being called to surrender as well, okay? So don't push forward so hard. Let grace carry you. And you're getting a lot of signs at the moment around you from your spirit team. So listen to those signs. You are... There's the card. That's the card that I was seeing that they're fearful of. That's the fear, the divine connection, the divine purpose, the divine mission. And this is about the wound, and that's where the light enters. So obviously by working through these shadows, they have allowed that light to enter, but they're not quite there yet, because they're just still too impressionable when it comes to these people's opinions. But I think now that this has been highlighted to you, you will be able to see this clearly when it comes towards you. And you will have the courage to be able to keep moving forward. I think now that potentially that you know about this mask, you'll be more wary. And you'll be able to see it when it approaches you. Interesting. There's abundance that's waiting on the other side of this for you. So this might be a lesson for you. You might be somebody that often accepts people back when they come in and pull on your heart with a bit of a story. But you need to remain firm in your boundaries here. This is what's important. Speak your truth. Don't allow them to blindside you. Make sure you're speaking up. Speak your truth when they approach. And be yourself. Don't hide behind a mask. This says, I am not this hair. I am not this skin. I am the soul that lives within. Beneath the surface, looks can be deceiving. So don't be yourself. Be truthful. Speak that truth. And don't hide behind a mask. And there's the communication. The communication is definitely coming. How long have we got? I'm just going to switch to my Seasons of the Witch deck, because I'm seeing that farm to table card. Oh. Pause for a moment to reset and reconnect with your soul. And then I've got the corn dolly slipped out as well. The relationships that nourish are those you nurture with your spirit. But let's see what's actually coming. They just slipped out as I opened the deck, but... Oh, hang on. I've got piles of cards around me. Yeah, so your harvest is coming, but you've got... This feels like this is a lesson for you. But then it's obviously a big one, because it's going to open up a lot for you. So what last bit of advice can we give this collective, please, to move forward through this situation? Let's get some happier messages for guidance. Be wary when this person approaches you. Again, with the prayers to the earth. Connect with nature. Become present with the blessings you already have. Let gratitude fill your heart. When we're struggling emotionally with things, always turn to gratitude. Oh. Yeah, so remember that what was once planted has now grown. It's time to sow new seeds. So just because you're saying no to this doesn't mean it's the end forever. But at the moment, they are not in the right energy for you to be receiving them. They think they are, but they're not quite there. The Lion cards, the Leo could be a significant sign here. August could be a significant month. But it says take a deep breath and remember that peace of mind is the key to navigating your current challenges. Just get 2 more cards, please. There is magic in the weaving of unity. And the fruit trees. Don't miss what is right in front of you. Everything is as it should be. So make sure you're keeping your eyes wide open when this person approaches. Try not to fall victim to any sob stories. And remember that endings are a part of life. And when something ends, it gives us the opportunity to welcome in new energy.